The Ministry for Truth in George Orwell's novel was a ministry for lies, and Joe Hockey, the Shadow Finance Minister, this morning compared it with Kevin Rudd's government. How can it be, Hockey asked, that imposing a $9 billion a year new tax on mining can be, as the government reckons, good for mining? Well, he could ask South Australian Treasurer Kevin Foley, who describes the new rent resource tax as a win-win. But the big mining states, and you won't hear this from the South Australian Minister for Truth, are Queensland and West Australia, and the West Australian Treasurer is mightily opposed. There are 138 recommendations in the Henry Tax Review, of which the government has accepted 3. An election year 3. The review recommended an end to negative gearing, which is a tax write-off for people who own not just one home, but sometimes a string of them, collectively whole suburbs of investment houses rented out, which Henry says pushes up the price of houses so people who rent find it harder to buy. No use upsetting landlords in an election year, and no congestion tax either, which was another Henry recommendation. What we got on the weekend was not a reform of the tax system, more a reshuffling of the pantry than a restocking. Countries with the best education, health and social security, like Scandinavia, have comparatively high taxes. But a tax system has to be fair, and the fairest systems usually have the rich paying a higher proportion of their income than the poor. In Australia, the more you earn, sometimes the easier it is to pay less. There's a lot of detail in the Henry report, but one overall message from the Commonwealth. This weekend, the federal government ticked off on a tax system that's almost the same as the one before. And as for the Ministry for Truth, well, Winston Churchill said, men sometimes stumble over the truth, but most of them pick themselves up and hurry off as if nothing ever happened.